Okay, dividing with fractions. So remember, with division, now the number that we're dividing by, the one to the right of the division symbol, okay, this is a special number, right? Where with multiplication, didn't really matter the order, now the order matters, right? So when I say 3 over 4 divided by 2, this is the number that we're dividing by, and it's different than the other number, right? That's important, and it'll come in later. Okay, so if I'm going to divide by 2, another way to think of that is to say I want half of the number, right? So what we do when we're dividing by fractions is do exactly that. Rather than saying 3/4 divided by 2, we're going to say half of 3/4. So we turn the division into a multiplication of the reciprocal. So remember, 2 here is actually a fraction. If we like, it's 2 over 1, right? Anytime you have a whole number, you can think of it as a fraction over 1. And so when I divide by this fraction, what I'm really doing is I'm flipping the fraction around and I'm going to multiply. Okay? So like a lot of things in math, what we've just done is taken one problem and turned it into another problem that we already know how to solve. So 3/4 divided by 2 is the same as 3/4 multiplied by a half. And so now I can just multiply. 3 times 1 is 3, and 4 times 2 is 8. So 3/4 cut in half is 3/8. All right, let's try something a little bit more complicated. We're going to still go with those 3/4, and let's bring back the 5/7. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 5/7. Well, rather than figuring out what division is, I mean, we already know, division is just multiplication by the reciprocal. That's all it is. So I'm going to take the reciprocal of 5/7, right? 5/7, it's the number on the right, so that makes it the special number. It's the number we're dividing by. And I'm taking the reciprocal and multiplying by it. So the reciprocal of 5/7 is 7/5. Okay? So now I'm going to just multiply 3/4 times 7/5. So that's 3 times 7 is 21, and 4 times 5 is 20. So 3/4 divided by 5/7 ends up being 1 and 1/20. There we go. Okay, so now we've got those numbers 3/4 and 2/9 again, but now I'm going to divide. All right, a common error that happens is people will look at this and go, oh, I can cancel, right? Oh, I can cancel. There's 2 here and a 4 here, so I can cancel out because I can divide this by 2, divide that by 2. That doesn't work here because this is not a multiplication symbol, it's a division symbol. So what we need to do instead is first take the reciprocal of the number on the right here, the divisor, and you'll see actually there are no cancellations that can happen, okay? Because 3 and 9, 2 doesn't go into either of those numbers, so there's no cancellations possible. So instead we just multiply straight across. 3 times 9 is 27, and 4 times 2 is 8. And so we're left with 3 and 3/8, if I'm not mistaken with my division in my head there. All right. Okay, so let's try this one. 5/7 divided by 15/49. Now here, right, we'll see, oh, there's a factor of 5 and 15 and 5, factor of 7 and 49. Okay, there might be some cancellations, but don't do any cancellations until we've translated this into a multiplication question. So this is still 5/7 times now the reciprocal of this number, which is 49/15. Okay, cool. So now I'm able to do some cancellations. 5 goes into 15 3 times and into itself once, and 7 goes into 49 7 times and into itself once. So I'm left with 1 times 7 and 1 times 3. So this ends up being just 7/3, or 2 1/3. Okay. Okay, one last division problem. We've got 2 3/16 divided by 7 1/8. All right, now, like with multiplication, in order to do division with mixed numbers, you first must convert them into improper fractions. So let me write that down. First, convert to improper fractions. Okay. So we got to convert these to improper fractions. So that's going to be, for my numerator, I'm going to have 2 times 16 is 32 plus 3. So that is 35/16. Okay, divided by, now over here, I'm going to have 7 times 8, so that is what? Well, 8 times 8 is 64, subtract 8 gets me to 56. So there we go, plus 1 is 57 divided by 8. Okay, cool. So now we're going to do the division, so that means we're going to reciprocate the number we're dividing by. So this is now 35/16 times 8/57. All right, so 8 happens to go into both 16 and 8, so we can do a cancellation. 8 goes into itself once and into 16 twice. All right, and now we look, is there any numbers that go into 35 and 57? Well, this is where that prime factoring comes in, right? What are the prime factors of 35? Well, 35 is 5 times 7. Okay, does 5 or 7 go into 57? I don't think so, but what are the prime factors of 57? Well, 2 doesn't work. Does 3 work? Well, 5 plus 7 is 12, so 3 goes into 57. How many times? Well, okay, let's figure this out real quick. Okay, 3 goes into 5 once. 1 times 3 is 3, subtract. Okay, and 3 goes into 27 9 times. So 57 is 3 times 19. 19 is also prime. So we have 35, which is 5 times 7, and 57, which is 3 times 19. There's no overlap there. Okay, these two numbers are what's called co-prime. They just don't have any factors that are common. So we don't do anything there, no cancellations to be found. So what we've got now is 35 times 1, which is just 35. And now we have 2 times 57. Well, okay, let's do that in our heads. 2 times 57, well, 2 times 50 is 100, and 2 times 7 is 14. So that is 114. Okay, so there's some division of mixed fractions. So that's division covered. Now on to addition and subtraction.